Hi, I'm Matt, this is my channel Sawdust Passion, and today I'm going to make some river coasters. So I'm in the middle of a guitar build for the Great Guitar Build Off. It's not quite finished yet, so I've got another project to show you. To go along with the riverless table that I made last time, this time I thought I'd make some coasters. These are a really simple project and ideal for anybody that wants to get into using resin. I've got these silicone moulds from Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description, and I've got this offcut of the wood that I used to make the tables. If you haven't got an offcut, any bit of wood will do. First off, I'm going to slice the timber. I'm cutting it so that it's just a little bit thicker than the silicone moulds. It's a new blade and I'm pushing it through quite slowly, so I'm getting quite a decent cut, so I'm not going to bother with planing each side as I go. Now I'm going to use the chisel to remove the bark. I'm placing the chisel where the bark begins and angling it away, and then just tapping it so I don't cut the sapwood. This has taken the majority of the bark off, now on to sanding. I'm using a low grit sandpaper and just rubbing off as much of the bark that I can. Occasionally I'm going back with a chisel just to tidy up some of the bigger bits, but just getting the bulk of it off so that the epoxy has something to glue to. Now that's done, I'm using the mould to mark out how wide I need the pieces of wood. I've set up a stop block on the mitre saw to make sure that all the cuts are exactly the same size. Some of the cuts are quite close to the blade, so I'm using an offcut just to hold the wood down while I use the saw. Now I have all the timber cut to size and place them in the moulds in the way I want them. I'm doing this on a raised piece of timber so that I can clamp them down. This stops the pieces of wood moving and floating in the resin. I'm using GlassCast 50 epoxy resin and some black pigment. The important part of resin is getting the ratios with the hardener right, so always double check the resin you are using. I've not done any calculations to work out how much I need. I've made up a small cup, which is plenty for this project. Now I'm going to leave these overnight to cure. Now to give them all a good sand. I've stapled some sandpaper to some MDF and sanding it down on both sides. After a while I decided this was taking far too long. I found a scrap piece of thin wood, I've cut 2 triangles in each side and I've screwed them to the table so the coasters just fit inside them. Some of the coasters have a little lip where the resin has gone over the mould, so I'm just taking that off with a chisel before I sand them. I'm switching the coasters off quite often as the resin is getting quite hot, which is making it a little bit soft. A bit of final sanding on the edges and they're ready for finish. To finish, I'm using the same Osmo oil that I used on the coffee table. Just giving each of them a coat and then leaving them overnight to cure. This is a really simple project to do and you don't need lots of tools, and I think you'll agree they look pretty cool. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and follow your passion.